How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the issue of the 30-year-old who was sued by his parents to move out of their home, and he was given an eviction notice by the court, and he was ordered to move within 1 week. Now, I could go a lot of different directions with this. I could talk about his physical appearance. I could talk about how awkward he was talking to Brooke Baldwin on CNN. I can make fun. I can laugh. I can joke. I can do all these different things. I can make memes out of it, all this and that and the third. But I really want to get a little bit more serious to talk about the greater issue of the millennial generation and even some people who are beyond the millennial generation, 30-year-old, 35-year-old, 40-year-old men specifically, not so much women. Maybe I'll talk about that a little bit later, but the men specifically who cannot move out of their parents' house. Now, this guy, just by looking at him talk, I don't see any kind of mental problems necessarily. I see some lack of social skills, absolutely. Because like I said, the interview with Brooke Baldwin was very awkward. You could tell that he didn't really understand how to communicate effectively. But I didn't really see any kind of mental issues that would prevent him from being able to live as a normal adult. What I did see in him was just a total lack of being prepared as an adult. No adult level mindset. And this has to be fostered over a period of time. It cannot just be, forced upon somebody once they get to be 30 years old by a court. You could kick him out of their house. How was he going to survive? Put it like this. Let's say you had a pet dog. You raise that dog from a pup, and then when the dog becomes like middle age, I suppose, you just let it go outside. Now, they're going to have some natural instincts that will allow them to survive outside, but how well do you think they will fare against other wild animals that have been wild their whole life? He's not going to fare very well because he's not been prepared from a young age to deal with that type of environment, which is exactly what I see here. And what I'm getting at is I blame not only the guy for not having any kind of drive, not having any kind of social skills, not having any kind of skills, but I also blame his parents. Where were you when he needed to have some skills fostered? When you see a child and they're starting to play with Lego blocks, or you start to see them as, if they're a woman, they're playing with certain things, baby dolls or whatever, hair. When you see them express interest in certain things, where are you at to foster it? Where are you at to encourage it? Where are you to get them prepared for the outside world? This situation with the guy who got kicked out or has been ordered to be kicked out in 1 week, is 30 years old, is a failure of the parents more than it is anything else. And there are a lot of guys just like him that are all over the United States, developmentally delayed, have no ability to move out. The saddest part about this is that he has a son. Shame on the woman who allowed this loser to get her pregnant. Now, I'm not calling him a loser to poke fun or disrespect him. I'm just calling it how I see it. If I look at the sky and the sky is cloudy, I'm going to say it's cloudy. If the sky is clear, I'm going to say it's clear. If you have a person that is succeeding in life and doing the right things, they start young, and then as they get older, they become more and more successful. I'm going to call them successful. But somebody who stays at a flat lane and never advances, I'm going to call them a loser. It is what it is. You don't have to necessarily stay there your whole life. You can advance. What I see in people like the guy who got sued and other males is lack of growth. They have stunted growth. And I also see fear. A lot of these guys are really fear driven and risk averse. They don't want to just jump out the window and do something that's different. They don't want to take any kind of chances. They feel comfortable in their homes with their mothers and their fathers. But a lot of times it's the moms, especially if you got a single mother. That's the worst, because then it becomes kind of a codependent relationship, especially when the parents get to be older. At that point, when the parents are older, that's when they may rely on other people to take care of them. And if you're there, you're 40 years old, your mom is 70, 75 or something like that, she's going to rely upon the person that's right there to take care of her. Although if you're 40 or something years old, you should be in a situation where you're able to, have somebody come help her at the home, or you can have siblings that will rotate and take care of your mother, or do something else aside from just all your whole life living right there in that house. And just by happenstance, you're there and you got to take care of your mother. That's not the way it's supposed to be. But unfortunately, it's that way for a lot of these men. Can I blame society? Maybe a little bit, because a lot of society encourages men to not be masculine, to not be leaders, to not be dominant. But at the same time, I think a lot of it just falls on the parents. Just allowing a child to have a normal childhood, to go outside and play, to make friends, all these things that will foster them to have the mindset to want to go out and do things on their own. Like, you have to want to be independent from a young age. Prime example for myself, when I was 14, I was trying to get a job. I was trying to make it work. I was trying to hustle. I was trying to really get something going and have something for myself, to be self-sufficient. I was not trying to rely upon my parents. I did not want to stay in my mother's house forever. I wanted to move out and do my own thing. Matter of fact, I had the opportunity to move back home with one of my parents, but I declined. I was like, no, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. I don't want to go backwards. I always want to continue to go forward. And most men are like myself. I'm not an uncommon case. However, you're starting to see more and more of the opposite. Men who don't want to push forward. Men who did not have any kind of thought process at a young age to try and go to get a job, to have certain things. And like I said, a lot of that can be laid at the feet of the parents. Let's look at what they may have done for this adult boy when he was an actual boy. Did they give him any chores, any responsibilities? When he wanted certain things, did they just give it to him? Was there any kind of work incentive? And that's the whole thing with the welfare state. I'll touch on that right quick. A lot of these guys grow up in households where they don't see anybody work. You know, this guy, I'm sure that what I think happened is he probably saw his parents work, but he never had to do anything that they did. He feels like, well, these are my parents. They should just give me whatever I want. Although he does not have that same type of attitude when it comes to his own son. But I digress. Other guys, when they live in a single parent household with their mother and she is relying upon the government for her existence and for his survival, all he sees is her fill out forms, go down to the welfare office and get things for free. So he thinks that's the way you got to go to get money. He doesn't understand the concept of hard work, the concept of being able to go out there, produce something, and then reap the benefits of your production. He doesn't understand that. So when he gets to be an adult, what he's going to end up doing is try to go to different women's homes to have that same thing he had at home with his mother, where she took care of him and he does nothing. And then everywhere they go, they just produce children, and you leave a trail of tears in your wake. You got 7 to 8 kids and the father is not there at all. And then the cycle continues because the kids that come from that type of environment do the same thing because they believe that's the right way to go, although it is not. So that's one thing. That's one reason why some of these guys never grow up. They're Peter Pan. They can't get out of their own way. And in this situation with the guy, had 2 parents and they're kicking him out, the fact that they have to go to court lets me know that they weren't preparing him for the future. They did not do the right thing. Where's the discipline at? You got to go to court. If it was one of my parents, I would come home one day to my belongings on the corner, on the side of the road. Okay, and it wouldn't even be laid out gently. Like, you know how sometimes you may go to a neighborhood and somebody's been evicted, the belongings would be laid out all nice, and you could just pick it up in your truck and go about your business. But then when you in the hood, you could be living in an upstairs apartment and you come out to your door, the stairs go straight down. The people that work there will just throw your stuff on the ground, let the neighbors and junkies just go through your stuff, steal everything. That's how I would be treated if I was his age, still living at home. The fact that that didn't happen lets me know that it never happened when he was a child. So where's the discipline within him? Where's the ability to communicate with others within him? Did he go to school? I don't even really know what's going on. He's like a feral animal. And a lot of guys are like that. Unfortunately, they're not really well-rounded as human beings. And again, this is not to crash on the guy, to joke on the guy. This is just me trying to diagnose it, to give you my opinion about what I think is happening. The person who got sued by his parents is not the only one that's like that. 30 years old is really a shame. I thought I was old moving out at age 23, and I had 10 grand in my pocket and my own business. And I thought I was late. I thought I could have been out by 20 or 21. I went to college and everything, got a degree. I have an associate's degree. When I went to the 4-year college, I pretty much left that, but that's a whole different story. Oh, one more thing before I close. There's no excuse for the guy to be in the situation that he's in. There's all kind of different ways you can make money. You can go work a job. You can go create your own business. You can do something. And if you're not sure what you're going to do, go to college. Take out a loan. They give them away. When you're in college, even if you're not sure what you're going to do, it can be a good experience because at least you can build friendships. You can start to network with people because people that are in college, a lot of times are trying to do the same thing that you're trying to do. So when you're building these connections, when you're building these bonds, you'll be able to utilize each other to press forward in your life. You're going to make lifelong friends in college, and you're going to need that kind of experience. Now, I'm not saying you got to go to an out-of-state school and spend a bunch of money and live in the dorm. I mean, I made connections just by going to the community college, and I paid for that out of my own pocket with cash from working. But see, I had the mentality of being independent, of being a man at a young age. Guys like this are perpetual babies, and they can never grow. There's a lot of guys like that. I've seen it personally in my walking life, and it's really sad. And I just hope that any parents out there that are listening to me, do not allow your children to be perpetual babies. Give your children responsibilities, instill in them the appropriate methods of dealing with the world. Because if they get to be, I say, teenage years and they don't have it, it's really going to be too late. You need to foster that type of energy when they are very young, when they're old enough to talk and walk. You need to be trying to just creep it in a little bit here and there. Now, I don't have kids myself, but I understand how I was raised and the things that I was given throughout my life that gave me the mentality of being an independent person, starting my own business, wanting to work, enjoying work. Women, on the other hand, are a little bit different. Women usually don't fare well when they're out there in the workforce at a young age. They don't fare as well as men do because women have different, they have a different biological makeup. They're more into taking care of the home, taking care of people. They're not so much trying to be, killers like the men are. We are the hunter gatherers. We bring it back home to the women and they're able to refine it. So in a situation where you have a man living with a woman, not working or whatever, you got two people that have been raised the wrong way. The woman who is not able to understand the proper place by being able to be the caretaker, be the person that refines what the man does, taking the raw material and creating a masterpiece out of it. And the man does not understand what his role is to go out there, be the hunter gatherer, have the killer instinct, and to produce or acquire the raw materials which make society function. So that's pretty much all I got to say about it. What say you? Do you think there's more to the story? Why do you think that you have these 30-year-old men, 35, 40-year-old men living at home with their parents or their mom and have never left? What about the parents themselves? What did they do wrong in a situation? If they're bringing us under court talking about, oh, well, we're going to sue you, we're going to give you an eviction notice. Is it too late at that point? 30 years old. I mean, shouldn't this type of mentality of being on your own and being independent, being a man, shouldn't that have been ingrained in this boy or man, whatever you want to call him, when he was a boy, when he was a small child? Do you think I'm right? Do you think I'm wrong? Whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.